Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds just like a song. I want more berries and that summer feeling. It's so wonderful and warm. Breathe me in, breathe me out.
What is up, folks? Thank you so much. Already got it popping in the chat. Want to thank everybody for joining along, of course. It is always fun to get the opportunity to come here and have a conversation with all of you guys. So, I wanted to just say very quickly, it's been so much of a journey to get to this point where the community is just as lively and just as active as a part of the whole show itself. So give your guys a round of applause and let's get this thing going. So let's get all the stuff out of the way like we always do, guys. If this is your first time checking out the show, we are streaming live on YouTube. You can check us out on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/C/Made From Scratch Broadcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, and do us a favor. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification bell to let you know whenever we are live, like we are now, whenever we schedule new lives, and whenever we drop new content on the channel. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. And of course, we are streaming live on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and that is at Mfsb Live there as well. Do the same sort of deal. Hit the like button. It'll let you get the option to set notifications whenever we do go live, and you will get hit with a live notification to come on here and watch it on YouTube. On Facebook if you're watching on Facebook. So thank you. And of course, we're streaming live on Twitch, and you can check us out on our Twitch channel, and that is at www.twitch.tv/MFSB Live. Again, same sort of deal. Follow us along on Twitch. And we got a few Twitch streamers already watching in the chat. So super awesome to be getting everybody here. And I know we are way behind on the comments, but we're going to catch up pretty quick. So, all right, guys, let's not beat around the bush. Let's get to the main event of this evening. This gentleman has been he's been an influence on me. Yes, he has. One of the first things that I noticed about what he does and how he has his own style was one of the things that kind of made me, say, you know what, there's more that I could do, more things that I can explore. So I kind of just followed his suit, and man, he's crushing it whenever he goes to his live streams. Love everything about what he does. So guys, help me welcome to the show. Let me take your comment off of there, KDJ, because it's blocking the screen of my man who's about to come in on the screen. Help me welcome to the show, guys. My friend, your friend, he's all of our friends, Mr. Travis Lachner. There he is, guys. He's coming. What a way to enter into the thing. So,
what up, LinkedIn? I'm about to take this place over.
That is it, right? So here we are. We have Mr. Nick Lozano already watching us on Twitch. So is Mr. Charlie Powers. Brian Shulman's in the house. What is up, Brian? Appreciate you guys. And I'm pretty sure they're flowing emotes all over the screen. Jacob's watching. This is the fun part about it, guys.
Oh, the Viper's in the house.
So we got the GOAT here. Yes, Jamal. Mr. Travis Lachner is in the house, and Marissa, thank you so much for watching. Everybody that's coming along, man. You guys are killing it. Joseph's in the house as well. Look at that, Travis.
Kenny,
that covered.
Oh God.
Look at that,
Kenny.
Mr. Suave,
Oh,
Mr. Suave, debonair,
classic.
sophisticated, stellar gentleman, a scholarly, articulated, eloquent human being, and a friend of mine, and to millions who share his goodness with others for the betterment of humankind, who is intelligently, gorgeously, handsome-looking. So
I don't know why Kenny's comments always make me so hungry. It doesn't matter if I just ate or anything. I'm smiling ear to ear, and I'm hungry.
Yes,
dude.
He is something else. And again, to me, I am pushing hard to get him on this show. He is my unicorn. There's so many people who is he real? Is he Yeah, he's real, man. He's a real person. I've had a conversation with him, but I think that would be whoever gets him. I don't care, even if it's not me. Whoever gets him on their show, they're grabbing the unicorn of LinkedIn guys. It is. I mean, everybody who does live streams in LinkedIn, or even on other streams, they know who he is, right?
It's branding, baby. Branding 101. He's branding on like another level.
He's on a whole nother level. So yes, we're talking about you, KDJ. And one of the cool things that we have here on this platform that we kind of we both really like and love, or excuse me, I have a love-hate relationship with the platform, because there's a lot of things that I wish, and these are just my hopes, and hopefully if they're watching, they've heard a few things. I mean, they got where you can get notifications now. I mean, that was a big deal. I don't know if you know, like if you go in StreamYard or set up if you go into Restream and you were to set up an event or something, it actually sets it up now on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I just saw
that. It gives you the option.
I was confused, it gives you trying to find your post, because the old post was technically a couple back.
Yes.
Very weird.
Right. And it'll give you the option to set a reminder. So that's cool that they've done it to that far. And of course, the whole thing about it is that when you see it compared to other platforms that do live streams, it's got some work to do, but it's a great platform. I love the platform because of the connection that we get, right? I mean, the people that actually come here who are part of the whole scene and want to be a part of our community, because again, a lot of the people that are in my community are part of your community as well. And I just wanted to, let a lot of the people who know me and Travis, we've had a couple conversations off camera. And a lot of the things that we talk about are, of course, what you guys are seeing is our live streams, because it's just about a part of our identity as anything else. And we wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit tonight, because we're trying to push ourselves and the kind of the limitations of or break past limitations that we have on some of these streams. As well, because again, it's insanely, and I'm sorry that the comments are going so quickly, but you guys.
Speaking of breaking limits, there is something we need to address on housekeeping. I made an agreement with Enrique and Joseph and the Vipers. If you want to select a record to break, the Stormtrooper Rave Trooper will come out if we break a record on Twitch or LinkedIn.
Yes,
I will make that agreement with you. Another agreement I would like to make is Reggie Waterman is not allowed in this chat. If we preemptively ban Reggie Waterman from this chat, we need a moderator. Enrique, could you please remove Reggie Waterman from the chat? He's actually been stealing a lot of our viewership with phenomenal giveaways, and it's become really a burden on our viewership. So Reggie Waterman, please get his picture up here on the front. Don't let anybody let him in. Thank you very much.
As a matter of those up. Here's how quickly I have this ready, Travis, because I'm pretty sure this was a preemptive strike. There's victim number. There he is.
Do not let this man in the building. So do not let this man in the building.
So if you see that gentleman right there, right, guys, in the comments, do not block him or whatever you have to do to keep him from getting on here, because he is, of course,
savage.
Savage. He's been pushing these out there, right? Right. He's been pushing these out there, and he's been killing us, right? Now I have to come up with my own line of sort of creating T-shirts and swag now, because I can't keep up with the I Love Reggie stuff and the giveaways that he's doing. So, man, you're killing me, man. You're killing me.
This guy.
Literally. That guy. So thank you so much for preemptively letting me know about that, Travis. I will keep an eye out for Mr. Reggie Waterman. So, and one of the things that I've kind of, excuse me, as these things have kind of taken on a life of their own, and what I've really enjoyed more than anything has been the connection, because you guys have another live stream coming up here pretty soon, right? Another 25-hour
Yeah, I
live
don't know
stream.
where this came from. I got roped into that real quick. Like, and now suddenly it's like a thing, and everybody's like, "Hey, what's the game plan?" I'm like, "Whoa, hang on." So yeah, we were actually mid debate last show of planning, like we were doing an in the moment, like kind of planning it with the community. And then John and I weren't getting the date that we actually wanted. We were wanting to do it like Christmas Friday, and everybody kept saying the Friday before. And we just we're kind of in hiatus of planning when that exactly is going to be, but that's how this entire year has been. I'd like to say there was a game plan months out, but honestly, everything I'm doing is usually 1 to 2 weeks out if I'm lucky. So this Mastermind Empire, or like some of these other podcasts like Hala and Adam Posner and some of them, they've got like months of pipelines like ready to go, and I'm out here like pumping out episodes like the night before. so it's a slightly different world compared to others.
I can imagine, and in working with those two guys, and pretty much it's like, hey, you got everything ready, and like, ready for what, right? So I get it. I understand. There's no problem. And again, I know, because I know your pain, right? Because I did one myself. You were part of it. Putting together a 24-hour live stream isn't the easiest thing to do, to kind of coordinate having different hosts, different guests, different everything, trying to put it together.
Yeah,
I mean, we could talk about it. That was kind of, you had a whole thing set. I mean, you had your whole build ready to go for it, and then,
oh my gosh, yeah. don't even. I'm still traumatized from this. The event Gabe was just mentioning, there was that 24-hour connect-a-thon thing. And there was all this special branding and sponsorship, like overlay stuff to set up. And I spent all morning setting it up, changing the laser colors to match their little, I have like that little laser outline.
Yes.
To match all of their branding, set everything up. And the moment I was going live with them, it just error codes all over the place. I was just like, God, what is happening? So it was one of those Murphy's Law moments of it going wrong at the
hey, wait a minute.
But we made it work.
What's going on here? Wait a minute.
Out of here with this.
Come on, man. and Nick's telling him giveaways are good. You know what? We're gonna start doing our own giveaways. I'm gonna line up my giveaways too. I'm gonna start doing giveaways as well. I got so many things I can offer. I'm gonna make stickers, shirts, hats. I'm gonna outdo Reggie. And it's gonna be hard. I get it. He's got an actual DJ on his live streams when he does his show. So yeah, he's fancy, but that's okay. We can do fancy on another level, guys.
Oh, you want to see fancy? We'll crush you. We'll crush you.
We're gonna put a game. That's right. Team no game. Yes, Nick. Team no game plan. So we'll let you guys know whenever there's more news to hear about a 24 or 25-hour live stream. I'm pretty sure.
We'll make it happen. Something will come to life.
I'm pretty sure Kelsey Lips is happy about that. She went 24 hours, 25. What's another hour, right? Who cares?
Oh my gosh. She's in, yeah.
So now let's talk about and I really we're going to get a little bit serious here a little bit. I wanted to talk about how you started your own sort of way into building an entrepreneurship with what you're doing with your live streaming and your production and everything else, because it's becoming a whole it's becoming a whole secondary thing on its own, right? Apart from just doing the live streams and everything else, there's actually a game plan to try to go out there and build something that you can actually monetize, where you can say, you know what, this is actually my this is my career and this is something that I want to go into full time, apart from just doing live streams, more about doing the secondary setup behind the work sort of deal. So let's talk about that a little bit, because again, our paths run very parallel, and there's a lot of things that you're wanting to do that I'm like on the same level of trying to get there as well. So I want to hear a little bit more about the Travis Lachner story, his journey to do this,
Yeah. Just this year alone is worth its own entire story. I don't know how far back the from scratch we want to go, but in general, this year has been in a very similar theme of what we were just mentioning, of adapting, evolving, and moving forward just 1 week at a time and slowly iterating. And at the beginning of this year, actually was in completely different space, was focused entirely on the agency side. And when the COVID sweep came in, it was just like a massive big red like reset button on everything. Everybody in the marketing realm was spending wasn't spending a dime. They just hit the big red button, like stop, abort, like we're not doing anything. And that time I've become actually super grateful for, because a lot of the stuff I realized I had been doing was really just to stay busy. It wasn't something I was super passionate about. It wasn't going to resonate long term. And I'm actually grateful for this year and grateful for COVID. It's a weird phrase to say out loud, but it really recalibrated everything in my world to be way more aligned with what I actually enjoy doing. So was very lucky to discover virtual events and digital streaming and everything out of necessity. At the beginning of the year, it was just evolving, had a legit event set up in Denver, was going to start networking, get my LinkedIn crowd built into relationships offline. And essentially, all of that just got ruined. So attempted to do virtual events and started them in Zoom. And after we realized there was kind of a concept there, really loved leveling up in every creative way possible. So that was a lot of the times in production value or creative ideas, all stuff like that. So it was really 1 week at a time, and it's been evolving ever since then. So in a few months, it might be a completely different game plan. But as of right now, it's finding creative ways that I can utilize my skill sets that I've invested into over the years. And how can I use that to let other people shine, similar to like what you're seeing with John and Luke and all of the other shows we're doing is set up entirely for that spotlight to be able to kind of be redirected and have more of a community focus. Anything I can do to not literally be the one that has to be on camera, I try to do. So that's why I like all the setups where I'm kind of a secondary focused or like a host of the event or a host of the evening. I do the same with my podcast. It's all about the individual coming on the show and really wanting to spotlight them and highlight them. So getting a little bit more used to this side and this version of it, because apparently people care and are interested. But that's something I'm getting more comfortable with as the year goes on. Largely thanks to all the brilliant, beautiful people that are here. It makes it 100 times easier to jump into those streams or jump on cam when everybody's supporting you, versus decades ago, I just used to be so crippled about anxiety, about fear and judgment on the internet. I've been shredded apart on YouTube when I was like a 16-year-old kid. Like I've just gone through some stuff that totally like digitally traumatized me. So it's been brilliant for all the people that are here. Thank you so much to everybody that has been part of this adventure over the year. Your support is noticed, appreciated, and it helps me jump into situations like this much more confidently than I ever would have been able to before.
Exactly right. I mean, that's whole. And again, I just want to mirror your sentiments a lot, because same sort of deal with me. I mean, it wasn't the easiest thing to get to this point where you're sitting here and being behind the camera, and that's why I'm like you. I spotlight a lot of the guests that come on here. Yeah, I'm a part of the conversation, but I try not to go too in depth about what my story is, because I'll have an opportunity to tell it to other people. I'll do that here, but I want to spotlight on the people that actually come on the show. So that's where I want to focus on that. I'm very much like you do. So even like Jacob says, you're beautiful, Travis. Jacob, thank you, Jacob.
Gotta love it.
Yes. So there's so many people, again, like I said, you don't realize it. And it's and it's, for some of us, sometimes it's very hard. It's very humbling to get to this point where people are like, oh my God, you're so amazing. Right. I mean, you never expected it. That was never and I'm pretty sure it's never is now to be the focus of what your content is about and what you want to share. Because I do see, I mean, you do put a lot of really straightforward, very poignant content on LinkedIn. I mean, it's really well written. It's got a direct point that you want to reach out to people. So yeah, there's a lot of fun and joking stuff that we do on our shows here, but we do have a serious side where we really want to talk about certain things, and we want to express our own sentiments of how we feel and what we want to share on LinkedIn. So man, I feel you a lot of what it is to be a live streamer, because again, it goes, you want to be able to have that a balance of saying, you know what, I also create content that hopefully helps somebody else teach something or learn something, or apart from just doing what I do on these sort of conversations that we have here. I mean, it's great that we get to do this, but we also want to do it with purpose. I mean, and that's, for me, that's one thing that I kind of concentrate on every single day, is to get better, to help either give somebody a voice or build this platform to give somebody the opportunity to come on here and share what it is that's very vital, or has oh, you want to be famous? Yes, I do. Thank you, TwitchBot. You rock. TwitchBot
hey,
came on.
Your Twitch is popping when you're bringing in all the bots. They only come if you've got viewers, baby. They only come if you got viewers. Yeah, I see Twitch gang in the house again. Oh my gosh. Half of this. Oh wow.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, because we're going to pull the curtain back a little bit about how Travis does it and how I do it whenever we build our streams out, because there is a lot of work that goes into these things. That's why it's like whenever there's epic fail on the screen or whatever, it kind of just goes, you want to just lay your head in your hands and go, can I start over? I mean, and it's a live stream.
Yeah, no, it's a double-edged sword though, because when I'm, at least for me personally, when I'm in the other context of like, I do have the control to reset and do another take, and then another take, and then another take, and it's 3 a.m. and you still never have the final take. That's like 100% the reason behind like my pitch for live streaming a lot of the time is sometimes it's just about finding your communication style or finding a better way to present your voice or your message. And those camera in the corner setups like that's everybody else does for their videos, like that is so not my zone at all. I turn into, the moment you put me in that setup, like go put the empty camera in the corner, the little Canon, flip on the lights to the side, and then set up the little Rode mic. Like the moment you hit record on that, my soul just disappears from my body and some like shell of a robotic human starts like talking to the camera. And I just look at the videos and I'm like, who is that just showed up and recorded on video? Whereas in these live streams, there's always an interaction. Like I can see you on the other side of the screen smiling when we're chatting. I can see Reggie is somehow still in this room. Why is he in this room? Get him out of here. And I could see all the brilliant people like Tiffany and Marisa and Pedro jumping in here, and that feedback and that interaction, I think more from the artist side, that might be more of like the musical side of me coming out. Like, I need that interaction or that feedback, or I turn into some like robotic LinkedIn like Sims character or something that is just so not on me. Like, you can go through my history, you don't see any of those type of videos that John Palmar and Alex and all of them do. I don't get on any of those videos.
It's hard. It's hard. So I give them credit where credit is due, because it is not the easiest thing to do that, to go to actually do studio production work like that, to create video content like that, where it's doing that sort of thing. I know I've been trying to put together my own series of like how-to videos with how to use StreamYard, and you turn on the camera and you're like, fuck, I feel uncomfortable. What is going on, right? I ought to be able to just turn it on and go, I got this, right? And it doesn't turn out that way. And again, I feel that it's because once we know we go live, I think we operate better when we know there's no safety net, if that makes any sense, right? So,
yeah. Quit halfway through. Yeah, you roll through the uhs or the ums instead of just resetting or restarting.
And again, you go, you know what? Let me just stop the recording or let me pause it and do this right here. Where as you're live, it's like, I can't do that. I got to keep going. I got to keep the conversation, even if I feel like I've had an epic fail and whatever I've been talking about, or it's been a bad night, everything's glitchy, whatever the fuck it is that you're dealing with, right? You still have to work through it. I mean, so I think that's where we're more like live performers than we are somebody who's like an actor where they can stand behind the camera. So I compare it to like being on theater stage and then having recording it like on a movie set, right? Because there's going to be editing. There's somebody that's kind of directing you how to do. But once you're like on the live stage and all eyes are on you, there's no like, holy crap.
It's like to me like an improv stage.
Yes,
because there's no edit on an improv set. Like there's a mutual agreement. Actually, this is now I'm glad we stumbled into this, because I know there's people in the audience that have this. It's like this mutual agreement that like it's okay when things are a little off the rocker. And it's the same thing that happens in an improv set or a comedy club. There's this respectful agreement between the audience and the performers of like, whether this is beautiful or this is a disaster, like we're here to support it. And sometimes that's what creates the beauty of like just a god awful, cringe-worthy improv set. If you've ever tortured yourself through that, it's amazing that somehow people are able to support you after that and not just like let you talk, like never talk to you again. So it's amazing to know that there's a lot of people in the audience that kind of have this. Not only they will support it, there's a few people I've discovered that actually want it to happen. They're here to see the train wreck. They want to see stuff go wrong and like that live element. So there is a full spectrum to it. But yeah, no edits for better or worse.
And if you want to, I mean, here's the thing that me and Nick figured out, and I figured out the other day, and Nick saw what it could actually be. So why we kind of like been pushing Twitch a little bit more is because it's got a lot of different functional features that we would hope other platforms will maybe look at and do. So here's one of them that was kind of cool. I was actually taking clips from the interview that he was having on his live and cutting it into segments live while he was doing it. So you can actually take it, record it, pull clips.
Yeah, clip it. Somebody goes, clip it. That's when you know we've made it, Gabe. When we're streaming and we can go, clip it. Right? Somebody just like Jacob or Enrique or them just goes straight into it, slice it up, and then it's on your channel.
Exactly. And then not only that, you could take it and download it, and you've created different levels of micro content if you wanted to. If you wanted to have somebody and you were having a real like a sort of directed conversation, you could take the micro content from those clips, download it, put an intro stinger, outro stinger, whatever it is you want to do with it, and boom, you can go through the whole process so quickly of having to create small pieces of content to share on platforms like LinkedIn. I mean, so it's another way that I discovered that I think is a really great tool that if people don't know about it, try it. It is so awesome. Because here's the whole thing: is if you don't do it that way, you have to wait till your show's over, download the whole thing. So imagine this: you're doing a 4-hour stream, Travis. Do you want to download the whole video and then go back through it and find the points of the conversation that you want to have to pull?
Not ideally.
That's
currently my setup now. So the answer is no.
But if you had somebody that says, "Hey, can you watch it?" and when you see a moment that you think is really cool, in the moment you can actually go back a few minutes, go back, clip it, boom, put it on the channel, and then if you wanted to go back and download it and put a whole build on it and share it as a piece of micro content on LinkedIn, or you could go put it on Instagram or wherever your other channels of social media are. I think it's such an amazing tool that I just learned about, and I said, wow, this is pretty awesome. I'm learning myself a lot more of why Twitch is a really, and it's created for streamers. I mean, that's the whole thing about it. I mean, it's created to go on there and push these sort of deals. And I think eventually that's where a lot of these platforms need to start going as far as putting this stuff out there, because, you know, they're all just pretty much copycatting each other. So innovations that somebody else has, they look at and say, "Oh, that's kind of cool." So not like LinkedIn now has stories, right? Well, so where do you think they got stories from? Yeah, they'll get there at some point. I mean, so just look at it and see. And again, I have a real love-hate relationship with LinkedIn. I love the platform. I love the connection. I love everything about it, except for the part of of the growing pains of wanting to go through and do it, because a lot of people who I don't know how, I still haven't figured this out, how their process is of picking people who get the opportunity to broadcast live on LinkedIn.
Oh, I actually have a really good insight from these. They have a group of manatees that go and select a ball with a random name on it. And every time the manatee grabs a ball, he delivers it to the LinkedIn Live general. And then they just find somebody that has, if they don't have that name, they just find something similar. So I got really lucky. There's lots of Travis's, Trevor's, lots of balls like that in the manatee pit. So it's
I got lucky as hell because there's not a lot of Gabriels. So
oh man, no, I have no idea what their system is at all.
Maybe I was in the diversity and inclusive part of the program. You know, they said, "Hey, we need to get a few people of gender and race in there. Maybe we can throw a couple of those people in there. Let's pick a few of those balls, right?" I mean, who knows? But again, you know, because there's some people who I think have really perfect content that's tailored towards this platform. That, I mean, you could, that would go there and would crush it on this platform, but they can't sniff the light of day of being on LinkedIn. No. And then there's others that I go, how the fuck did they get access to being on LinkedIn? And you might see that they have,
and it's not even,
they might have one stream a month, right, to go on here. And I go, oh my God, where somebody that would really go out there and add content, who might be an everyday streamer, one of those kind of people. I mean, why wouldn't you want to highlight these sort of people who are pushing organic content on your channels? I mean, I don't know. It's frustrating as fuck. I get it, because I know, like, I know Luke had applied for it and he's pretty much got shot down. You know, they gave him the same sort of deal that everybody else gets, as far as, hey,
yeah, no, there's no, There's literally, there's gotta be, at one point there had to be logic on it, but I think they're just really, in most cases, live platforms are often abused for not the greatest things. So I think they're just being hyper conservative about that access until they are able to do something about it, or be ahead of it, because Facebook and Instagram and these other guys, they have entire departments dedicated to censoring and moderating and taking stuff down as it's like, okay, this shouldn't be streaming live right now. So there's not even remotely close to being able to do something like that on LinkedIn. So I think they're just trying to be hyper conservative about the number of people they let in or who exactly they do. That's my guess, but I have no logic other than corporations want to cover their ass. That's typically the first thing they want
to do.
So that's my guess, but who knows?
And again, I there's no, and that's the whole thing about it. When I've had conversations with people about this, oh, how did you get access, right? And you tell them why, and they go, "Fuck, that hasn't worked for me." I mean, and luckily I have helped a few people kind of get their, at least a foot in the door, to getting access to it. But the thing about it is, like you're saying, is that there's so much to worry about, and I'm pretty sure there's logistically it's something that they are maybe not prepared to handle. But I tell everybody this is how I explain it to a lot of people, so they could probably understand it, right? Everybody has access to Facebook Live, but not everybody uses it, right?
Yeah, so I should use it more.
So exactly, right? So
yep.
So that's why.
But there's a lot of features. I think what you were mentioning too, that can, so when you were mentioning Twitch features, we could have moderators of our own community. That's what I want to get going on the other side. So like I could have Enrique and Joseph kicking Reggie out of this room because he's still hanging out here with us. And we could literally have that as a feature with tiered like security access, and like people that are truly with you and they see somebody spamming about whatever that crap was earlier, get some sexy Indian bot, whatever that was, like you could have people moderating those and pulling those off, and making sure that your stream is within guidelines and stuff. So I think there is going to be a time where we just slowly are getting there. But just wanted to, I just want it to be here, man. I think it would be, I wish I could duplicate the LinkedIn audience and just bring it over to the Twitch interface, or vice versa.
Well, I think that's one of the things we're trying to push to. We're trying to push to now, because again, once people start getting on there, they start seeing so many different, so many different things about Twitch that are so eye-opening, as opposed to just about any other social media platform. I know I've streamed on every other platform that you can think of. I mean, anywhere they'll actually let me, I try to stream to, because I'm just curious, right? Just wanted to, out of curiosity, see what it's like. But there's I'm gonna tell you, each platform has its very strong advantages and disadvantages. And for us here, it's the community here in LinkedIn for us, right?
True.
This is not so much why we just bolt and go, you know what, I'm doing exclusive content on Twitch, right? Because you're getting here. I mean, there's so many people that you've connected with. You build stronger relationships on this platform, and it kind of mirrors when you're doing your lives and people wanting to come in and take part in it and sharing, being part of the conversation. Because I think that's why I love the ability to pull up the comments when people say something. If there's somebody says some smart ass comment, I'll pull it up. I mean,
It's brilliant, man. The real-time interaction is just something else. And I think it's what keeps people glued. Like, I remember watching Twitch streams that before I was even gaming. Like, I didn't even like gaming in Fortnite. And I'm like watching Nick Merckx and like some of these other streamers for like my entire Saturday. And I'm like, what the hell just happened there? So the engagement of like everything you can do, the people pushing the technology, the multicam setups, the gamers that just do like 5 things at a time. There's just so much you can do in this realm. It's mind-blowing.
It is. And I want to, again, harping back on Reggie Waterman, there he is. Okay, so back on focus. But one of the cool things that I have to say that has been so different about being on this social media platform than anywhere else, has been the way that people reach out and respond so much easier and openly than on social media platforms. I mean, I'm literally getting on Twitch every day trying to connect with people, right? And watching streams and doing this sort of deal. And it's not as easily open where somebody when I send a connection here on LinkedIn, it's like almost instantaneous. Well, somebody will respond back. They'll say like, "Hey, nice to meet you." Whatever happens in your direct message there. I mean, so it for me, it's been so much an easier access to people on the platform and wanting to learn about them, because again, I've been getting on the Twitch streams and trying to actually stay active in the chat there. And for some of these things, it is very difficult to go, hey, I want to reach out and hello, how are you doing? And put this thing in here, because if it's not based on the conversation, it's pretty much gameplay or music, and it goes by just so fast. You're like,
yep,
there's no way I can, there's no way I can keep up with comments and being a part of this conversation. Let me find somewhere else to go see if I can actually have.
No, I don't even know how you're ripping through these comments. Like, what are you even doing over there? And okay, we have to address a critical concern with this stream at the moment. Let's remove the comments for a second. There is a serial killer present among us in the bottom left corner of the screen. And he's been creeping me out. Why is this guy have a bloody scar on his forehead down here? I was hoping I'd get some like brand authority points coming on this show. and now I might be on America's Most Wanted list by the end of this show.
Well,
is that a tattoo? Is that a head tattoo?
I'm trying to figure because here's the thing is, right? I've been messing around with different editing tools, right? And part of it has been because Daniel Hall. I don't know if you guys know Daniel. He's
I
cool.
do.
Okay,
yeah, he is amazing with.
Okay, so Daniel's actually doing a whole series. He's starting his whole little thing, and it's just small little 5-minute clips or so, whatever. But he's talking about tech and different kind of applications and stuff you can use online that may be free. So see, he sends me stuff all the time. So me being just curious, I go, ooh, let me go try this app, or let me go try this open source that they have right here. Let me go try this over here and go figure it out. So I usually use like Adobe to kind of like do some of my work to clear stuff out, or whenever I like want to make my whole thing that people see. But I've been messing around with different ones that even like Nick gave me today. I was like, oh, let me go try these out. Because again, it's like, if it's a free resource, I want to be able to say, hey, this shit really works, man. And kind of give a review of it, so that when somebody else is trying to reach out, right? Yeah. And sometimes that's what happens, right? You see it doesn't always clear it out right there. So it looks like Travis actually is part of the Manson clan there, and he's on the hunt. He's ready to take somebody down. So yeah, it is. And wow.
So yeah, what you missed during your most recent monologue, it looks like a LinkedIn versus Twitch war is
going
emerging.
on.
It is emerging. It is beginning, ladies and gentlemen. This will be very interesting. Let me know if you're team Twitch or team LinkedIn on here. It's
that's right.
Gonna be interesting to see the divide here. Whew.
And it's this is why I stream to multiple platforms. There you go. Here you go. So, well, here's okay. Wow, we got another convertee, right? So, Darlene, who's been on the show before, was actually commenting on LinkedIn, and now she's transitioned over to Twitch. So now she's gone to the dark side, guys.
Oh, it is beginning.
So here we go, right? Oh, and then Nick just said, I just clipped that. So there you go. Nick.
Oh, he clipped it. He clipped it. We already made it, Gabe.
We made it.
Clipped it.
So we got there you go. Team LinkedIn, team Twitch guys.
Oh wow.
If you're on either side of the fence, let us know. It is part of the whole deal of wanting to become a live stream professional. So you know what? There's one more thing that I want to touch on, because this has been a topic of conversation with other live streamers that I've had, and it's talking about your studio. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a big admirer of it, and I've had other people go, "Fuck, his background, his studio is killer," right? So wait, I thought LinkedIn was the dark side. Oh, maybe it is.
Ooh, I thought LinkedIn was the dark side. Oh,
is LinkedIn the dark side? Let's find out. We'll find out here in the chat. But I think that background there is very, very, very much a part of what you are as a live streamer. Because you're very much like me. You love the whole EDM scene, the whole. I mean, it's a whole world of its own. And for you guys that don't know, we've put together like a Discord channel. So if somebody has it, can you share? Maybe they might want to invite somebody into like one of the Discord channels there, or maybe I need to create one for this whole fucking show, so that people can go there afterwards and just hang out if they would want to. Nick gave me that idea, and I just haven't acted on it. So yeah, I need my own. I hear you, my friend. So I'm going to put one together, and I'm going to start sharing it on the show. But why I was saying that is because you have your own style and contrast about what you do that is unique. And I think that's why I tell everybody who has their own live show, because again, Nick does his own, and Nick has his own style. I have my own. Even like Russ Johns, who does his own. He's got his own style, and it is what is more of a reflection of who we are. I love to be just like so different from everybody else, and that's one of the first things that kind of drew me to when I first saw your live streams. I was like, oh, this isn't the usual LinkedIn stream. It caught my eye.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what even for me, for sometimes what I have going on here, people are like, it's not your typical conversation. Yeah, we're not talking about tips and tricks on how to get your LinkedIn profile, super squared away, or how to build your headliners. And it's most of our stuff is talking about things that we're kind of really passionate about. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about what was kind of the whole idea for the whole motif behind you, because again, I really dig it. And at some point I'm actually reconverting my shed, because I did used to do my shows back in my shed, but what I've actually done is that I cleared everything out, and slowly but surely, I'm piecing it together to the way that I want it. So at some point, I will transition back into there and move all my equipment and get everything set up the way that I like it. So I have my own sort of.
No, it's yeah, you can find your own little style, your corner. I think so I think, yeah, to approach that, I'll give the holistic perspective of how I approach it, and then we could literally go behind the scenes. I got cameras here set up to show you. This is actually a lot more smoke and mirrors than some phenomenal like LA studio, actually. So I might lose a few more branding authority points going behind the scenes, but if you are hanging out, we will be cracking those open. But you mentioned two key pieces, being different and worlds, creating a world. So these are two things that were a big piece of the strategy, the theory. I'm a massive fan of Quentin, also known as just Q on LinkedIn. He's been a good buddy of mine over the years, a good inspiration, and he's consistently let me know that it's easier to be different than it is to just be the best at something, and better bonus points if you can double dip and do both. But if you can be different in some kind of way, it stands out, exactly like you were just mentioning. And the other piece is building a world, creating a world, or in experience in the context of these streams, is another massive piece that I've really absorbed from music. In the world of music and producing and writing a song, your job as a producer is to create a world for that artist, that pop star, that vocalist to step into the studio, drop the song, and then you create everything else. And that's how I think of every pop song I've ever made, is creating a tiny little world, from the ambient noises to versus a very soft kick drum that barely taps versus a thick, massive, like punchy drum. All of those are world building tips and tiny details that add up to the full sum experience. So when I'm thinking of developing this stream, all I really was able to control was the music, the lighting, and who I bring on the show. So between those elements, I try to create a world for people to step into, very similar to how like a music festival is set up or a nightclub is set up. Is you're there to create an experience for the user. So that's really the first place everything stems from, and has kind of been the, I guess, the motivation or the theory behind all of that. And with all of that, there's just tiny little details to that are huge wins in the context of studio setups and whatnot. So I don't know if these multicams are actually still set up on the stream, but if you want to try and flip those on, we should be able to see a lot of. Just a second while I get the other. Oh, nice! We got the pup cam.
We got the
pup cam.
We got the pup cam on, so just so you guys can see
on as well. The other one should be coming in soon.
So I'm gonna take. Oh, let me mute that. Oh,
there you go.
Okay, so well, there's puppy number one for that. But essentially, the secret sauce between all of this is these two floodlights. These two floodlights change the game and everybody's perception of this entire setup. So I'll show you a before and after, but from my perspective, this is what I have got set up: is one Amazon light over here.
Oh,
my studio monitors here for audio, and then a dual monitor up and down is pretty much the only setup. And then this is just mounted on the corner of the desk. So very simple. All of this is controlled by lighting here. So if we wanted to go to like Christmas mode, we could have in the chat, like if you wanted Christmas lights type Xmas, if you want purple lights type this. So that was a big, massive win for me. And it really changed the game. Was just these two tiny little lights make all of this cheap studio foam look super baller. and everybody loves it. So I've been super grateful for it, and I've been trying to see what creative ways I can utilize it, but would love to eventually switch to like a multicam setup where you can actually control it from the audience. I can't even get these back, but what I'm seeing now on Twitch is a massive you can set bots and commands to be controlled from Twitch. So technically, I think if we wanted to figure it out somehow, you could sync like the room lighting around you or on your keyboard to chat commands. So people could chat.
Oh, yes.
I've asked like RGB or flash or rave mode, and people from the chat can control your actual live stream, your room. So there's like, for the people that think it's like cute and fun to like bring up comments, you're like, oh, this is fun. Like it's interactive. They're going to have their minds blown. Like when they go to Twitch and you can tip, there's people that can tip and drop like audio clips and stuff like that. It's just been amazing to see all the creative ways that streamers have been utilizing it. I think we're just in the early stages. Once the bandwidth can take anything from any level, it's going to be a whole nother world for sure.
Oh yeah. And you know, that's why at some point I want to push to getting that, because again, it's so different. Ooh, dog cam. What is up? What is up? We got the dog cams in the house.
This is Bentley.
What is up, Bentley? Well, people that watch the show, they know Poo Poo. So Poo Poo's back behind me, back behind the banner. So he's actually just chilling on it. He cares not to be a part of the stream until it's time for him to say, you know what, dude, end your fucking stream. I need to go take a piss. At that point, that's when he comes to me and he'll let me know about it. So yeah, I love that, because again, when you're pulling back the curtain and when people kind of see exactly what goes on and what it actually takes to put something like that together, it's small little subtleties like that actually make a huge difference. Because again, I know another live streamer named Rob Alasabas who works for TubeBuddy. I mean, he's got two lights that have just a filter screen on it, but they add so much effect to what the studio looked like when he does his live streams. Kind of like in the same way it adds color and vibrant to the background of your stream there.
Yeah.
It does it with his. So I've seen that and I go, wow. When I reached out to him and I asked him what it actually was, he says, you know what, we need to talk. I'm going to show you. And he kind of pulled back the screen. He goes, these are like $49 lights that I got on Amazon. And I was like, what?
Yeah, this is all of this is just Amazon stuff. The only thing I wouldn't get on Amazon is the foam. It's way better to get it from a foam factory. You can get any density, any shapes, any like the corner trap ones. Up here.
Oh yeah.
Those. All of that stuff is way cheaper if you get it from a foam factory rather than Amazon. The rest was all Amazon. Those shelves, Amazon. This light, Amazon. This mount, Amazon.
So if we had an Amazon,
I'd get a sponsorship, dude.
So, so
where's Amazon Live when you need it?
If we were streaming on Amazon Live right now, we could kind of just say, hey, go to our, go check out our carousel there and order the lights, or you can order. Well, I think I saw these guys doing this on Twitch though, where there is a link to, I guess, like their Amazon affiliate where you can actually click on it. So if there's products that they have lined up on there, even though they're not streaming on Amazon Live, they can take you to where they have their own setup where there's products that they actually, because you can still be a part of the affiliate program and still not be on the live, but you get a portion of the sales of people who want to go there and look at the products that you use.
Insane setup. I've got my eyes on it.
So they were doing that on Twitch, because last night I was watching a Twitch stream and I clicked on it and I go, ooh, exactly. So that's another one. Look at that. Nick's right. You can have a bot send links too. True. Look at that.
No, there's so many next level things. Like, I'm so grateful that for an experimental.
Wendy, this is exact. Wendy, I'm going to tell you what, Wendy. It is exactly what it is at that point. Is it QVC for live streamers? It actually is.
That's what we're thinking. There's so many people underutilizing it, but Amazon's getting in on the live action. They ain't watching that from the sideline. They already own Twitch, but
so here's the context. Thing. Here's the thing. Like, if there's something that you were to be talking about, like you're pulling back the curtain a little bit, and somebody goes, "Ooh, I want to be able to get that." Those shelves, or I want to see what kind of camera that you use, or the headphones that you have. Literally, somebody would have to send you a message or reach out, hey, where do you get them? And you would have to either respond back and say, well, I get them here or whatever. Or if it's live there, say, hey, all the products that I'm actually using right now, guys, are in a carousel. You can go buy them, purchase them right now online in the middle of our conversation. So,
no, I might as well set up one of those my kit links or whatever that has the affiliate links for your.
Oh yeah, I've set my own. I set my own Kitco up that way as well. So
I got a very cheap setup. I'm still on a Logitech webcam. These other things are just cell phones, the ones that you're looking at here. Like, you guys can do a lot for anybody that keeps thinking like this is some superstar Hollywood thing. I'd go walk around the rest of the house. You'd be a lot less impressed. But it's just one of those things that if you do it right, you set the mood, you set the tone. Like, a few small differences can really change the game. Like, I could probably convert. I'll do it at the end, but I can convert to with the lighting off and just with room light, and you'll see like the dramatic difference just those few things make. And it was like, that Hollywood effect or something that everybody thinks it is, but it's really just these floodlights I was supposed to use for Christmas and Halloween decorations. they're like absurdly bright to have indoors. To be honest, they're a bit excessive. I should probably tone it down a little. Let me know what color you want the lights. I'll control it here. Yeah. Type Xmas if you want Xmas lights, or perp.
I think you can do perp. I think Marissa's more. I mean, it was more like
Marissa's purple automatic.
Purple automatic.
Her account's like bot typing purple for votes. Purple.
Not perp. No. That's perp. That's in the corner.
We're gonna start triggering all the drug filters on LinkedIn and Twitch.
They're gonna go, what the hell? What the hell? So yes. Oh, Jacob's saying Xmas. We got two.
Okay,
Xmas
he's saying both alternating.
What? It's not making sense. We're trying to get. Okay, Enrique's got a valid one. He's saying green. So there you go.
So if we do one green and then one red. Oh,
there you go.
There's our Xmas live.
There we go. It's Christmas time. Well, speaking of, since we're going with the Christmas theme, this is how I love to have everything set up. So here we are. It's Christmas time, guys.
Can we officially set up some mistletoe? How romantic, Gabe. Oh.
So yes, it is Christmas time of the years, guys. You got to have, and see, look, even in the corner, we'll have a wreath there and kind of just set it up and, make it a little bit festive. So I'm like you, that's the whole fun thing about this whole thing, putting this whole thing together and saying, you know what, at any one point I can just change the fucking conversation and what it's feeling like. So if people are watching this stream and they're just getting into it like right at this moment, they're thinking, what is going on? It's Christmas decorations. Are you guys talking about Christmas?
Yeah, imagine that's how I feel every time I have Luke and John on the show and people are tuning into my stream, my channel, and somehow people are smashing bananas on camera. I wonder who that was.
Well, I wish, what? I got to go back and find that video because I need to put that on there because I want to have it to go loaded at any one point and talk about banana smashing, because that was, for those who don't know, I took a banana, right, on a live stream, right? We were doing a banana eating contest. I took a whole banana, I mashed it into a ball just like that, and I shoved the whole thing in my mouth. I mean, it was
potassium bomb straight down the esophagus.
Yes, banana smashing sounds crazy, and yes, it was a banana orgy. There was, I think, orgy added to the end of anything makes it.
It was I believe it was a banana gangbang. If we are getting technical, if we're getting technical about it, I don't know if we have to go there. But I do need to make note that, as we predicted, Reggie Waterman is now dropping his giveaway in the chat. And our moderators have failed. Thank you so much, Reggie. What a surprise. What a surprise, bro.
My gosh. And gosh, man, that's terrible. I expected more, man. I really did. I expected a lot more.
We knew it.
So
we knew it.
And at some point, you just go, you know what? I give up. I guess there's no way to keep this man from getting in there. So, and again, it's been such a fun time. And here you go. I'm gonna play this one. Here you go, guys. Boom! There it is on screen.
See, yeah, and this is with. So, Gabe, I gotta give you props. You crush and maximize the limits of StreamYard. I'm surprised StreamYard can even load and play half of the shit you've got going on, like 6 layers. It looks like 6 layers of OBS, but somehow you're just in StreamYard, and it's objectively amazing. I got to give you props for it, man.
So what I've learned to do is, and this is why I say, if you can learn how to operate within certain confinements, just imagine what it's going to be like when you don't have them. So that's why I say going to the next step. That, man. We're going to the next step of operating within OBS and operating, because I'm just letting people know within the next few couple weeks, there's going to be a transition. I'm going to be working with OBS and with vMix differently, coming into creating my own builds, because with StreamYard, I can, if I have a vMix set up, so just essentially vMix is pretty much kind of like OBS, but it's strictly like made mostly for Windows. It's a Windows sort of application. So like Ecamm Live is another one that people can use, and it's kind of built mostly for iOS, for people who use Macs and that sort of thing. So I can't mess around with it, or else I would. Yes, stop. Holy crap. That's not even a psychedelic, folks. That's just nice.
This is, you know what's hilarious? This reminds me of Joe Rogan's very first stream. Have you ever seen it?
No.
His very first Joe Rogan experience. It's a gem. Think of that. So go back to that snowflake thing, and then just think of it when you go watch Joe Rogan's first episode. They go and turn on, I think it was on Ustream at the time. Ooh. And they turn it on, and it's him and Brian Callen, and they're both like up in the cameras like this, looking in the computer, and there's this overlay on there of snowflakes coming down on the screen, and everybody in the chat is like, turn off the fucking snowflakes. And they're in there for like 10 minutes, like just figuring out how everything works. And it's like cavemen discovering fire. They are like, it's their first podcast. They're like seeing the chat come up and everything. It's just amazing to see when you think of his $100 million Spotify deal now. And you go back to that first one, and he has this big sign in the back of his wall. It says, "Make me hard." This guy's making $100 million on an exclusive podcast contract. So it's just one of those symbolic moments of anybody. Like, if you are even just slightly considering making the leap, just give it a shot. Iterate. There's thousands of different styles. You could have seizure streams like Gabe's here on this, or you can have. There's people on Twitch that stream nothing but their screen, the whole screen. They have no overlays, no clean anything, and then maybe they'll put themselves in the corner. But that's one I'm starting to look at, is doing almost the opposite approach of what is the minimalism layout I can set up for a stream, for it to look cool and sick or professional, but with the least amount of stuff as possible. So that's going to be my next challenge when I'm redoing my layout, as you were just mentioning. So
because that's the whole thing about it, is building it, because again, like even within the confines of working with StreamYard, there's different things. Like we do this is like I did this like for the first whole season, where I kind of used more of the close-up sort of look. So when people would come on screen and when I would lay out my overlays,
it's clean, yeah.
So, so this is kind of like what it would look like. And I have the one from Nick and Anna when they were on here. So, this was kind of like an easy sort of clean looking sort of layout, right? So it looks very minimal, but it can also have sort of a lighter professional look if we wanted to do like something like this, right?
No, it's legit.
There are ways to do where you can kind of make it sort of easier to do the build. I just lately have been going fucking bananas with doing all of this insane stuff that people go, what are you doing? This is like, because again, even like here, the background's not so much in play. It's the overlay there that's sitting there that everybody can see, and it's not so.
No, clean overlays are good. Yeah, good win as well.
And
I see Reggie dropped a question.
Oh, let's see.
Question: What's the biggest thing you learned about yourself and this platform in 2020? I learned the power of adaptability. I think kind of back to where we were centralizing this conversation at the beginning. There is no game plan. It amazes me that people have like a 5-year game plan. I'm like, I don't know what the world's even going to be like next year, yet alone to have like a 5-year game plan. So I've gone into this week to week, month to month type of mentality. That's kept me very, very agile. For prior years, I was just staying busy with agency work and client work that had leveled up from just referral trains over the years. Like, honestly, my first company that I built and sold was in the cannabis space. So when I switched to the agency side, I just had a bunch of cannabis and CBD clients. Then from there, it switched to their investment firms and the companies there. And we're like, okay, cool, we'll do that. And then by the beginning of this year, we were working with financial advisors, private equity investment firms, like all this stuff that like they can pay and need marketing, but it was nothing I truly enjoyed and like loved doing. And I was grateful to have my COVID clarity moment earlier this year where everything just paused and I was able to recalibrate and use those services in an external way. That was where everything started to zero in and on helping businesses and brands and athletes and artists, helping them convert their ideas into reality. That was the biggest thing for me to discover, is you have a skill set of some sort and you have dozens of skills that can compound and interact. And it's a matter of finding how you can use that skill stack to serve others in a creative way. And for me, this live streaming and putting others in the spotlight gives me a brilliant moment to tap back into that music producer vibe of when I was a music producer. My only goal and my dream was to make sure the pop star, that song, the vocalist, the artist who their song got brought to life. And seeing that in a more professional context that's much more feasible and functional than it has been in previous years was a perfect sweet spot for me. And then to combine that with the LinkedIn community, Reggie, was just an absolute game changer. The positivity here, the deep connection I haven't had it since back in the MySpace days, when I had my page rocking and rolling, and I was like 15, 16, 18. There was just an unreal positive energy there of musicians and artists and creatives and emo kids and scene kids and whatnot. And it was just this whole nother vibe. So discovering the positivity this year of the LinkedIn community has been amazing, because I didn't post till I started this adventure in January. So like I had no idea where I was going to be by this month or by the end of this year. I had 0 posts on LinkedIn, started just testing the waters, discovered the sliders earlier in the year. Those were awesome. PDF sliders were a big win for me in the LinkedIn community. So I learned a lot, Reggie, as I realized how long I've been rambling answering that question. I've learned a lot this year, Reggie, and I'm just so grateful for it all, and just sharing the journey and the experience, man. It's just been amazing because of all these people here, man, and you. It's just a tribe and a community that I cannot wait until we open the world up, because we're going to figure out an event to get us all in the same room, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Whether it's in Miami or Denver, or if we got to go to Luke in London, I'll do it. I don't care.
Wherever the hell I'll go. Right.
But we got to get that going someday, sometime. Yeah, I'll let Gabe answer his version of that, but I'm done rambling.
hey, that's not me.
Rambling passionately.
that's not rambling. That's just you expressing, and even like this, right? This is pretty minimal right here as far as like how you can actually operate and still be. It still looks pretty clean. I mean, there's not you don't have to go the whole super fancy route. I just do it to do overkill. I mean, because that's what I do. I mean, that's the whole, like I said, the whole thing about what I try to push. So, but I'm, like you, there was no intention when I first sat down behind a camera. I didn't have it. It would make a better backstory if I did, like, say, oh yeah, I had this grand plan. I had it laid out. I was going to go do all this good stuff. I had all this ideas set out where I was going to be able to create this whole sort of way to reach out and build a platform to share with people and have conversations and all this stuff. But it wasn't nowhere near close to that. My thing was, I just wanted to try to challenge myself of being different. And what I mean by that is I wanted to create a place where I could share my expressions. I had done this in blog form. I have a blog, and I'm going to start sharing that with people. But I wrote a blog, an everyday blog that I did, and shared my thoughts and the things that would come in through my mind and everything else. So I wanted to kind of try take that to the next level, and that's why I thought of the idea of first doing a podcast. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Ooh, I'll just do a podcast and talk about these sort of things and put what I want to say to people, and hopefully they'll find it useful, right? I mean, maybe I'll get more engagement than I was getting with an everyday blog." And then somebody kind of told me, "Well, if you're going to be doing it, why don't you do it on video?" And light bulb went off for a minute. And I said, "Yeah, you know what? Why don't I do it on video?" At that point, I was like, you know what? I'm about challenging myself anyway. I wasn't the whole. This right here is more polished than what I was when I first started. I was more of a. I was all over the place. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to look at my camera. I didn't know how to do any of this. Yeah. It took time to get to this point, but but that was the part of the process. So I just turned on a camera in the very spot that I'm sitting here now. I mean, literally, I had one desk lamp. The lighting was horrible. I mean, it was not even to the point where you could say, oh, my lighting was okay. I mean, literally, it looked like I was sitting in a dark room. I had my glasses on. I was just sort of trying to go through my thought process of what I was trying to say, and it was confusing. I did a 19-minute live stream that day. It felt like 2 hours. Because I was doing something that I was uncomfortable doing.
No, you're panicking every minute. Yeah, minute you're something's glitching out feels like a friggin' hour.
I think I had the whole time. I think I had 3 comments, and it seemed overwhelming at that point. So that's it. Just kind of tells you about how what it was when I was sitting there and talking and saying what I was trying to get out of my own mind and wanting to share with folks, to where the point where I thought about it the next day and said, I can't do this. I really thought about saying, you know what, this is just not going to work for me. But I told myself, you're not going to give up. This is something that you're going to push yourself to try to learn to do. I mean, the whole point was
done it to an extreme, bro. 5 days a week was not necessary at all. Well, by the way,
I was about to roll into why I did that.
Okay.
Because I knew myself. I knew that if I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it once a week and then walk away from it, I knew that at some point, if I let everything around me, all the thing that I had going on in my life, and at that point where I was trying to change it, I would have let those things bog me down to where I would have said, you know what, I might have done 1 or 2 episodes and would have walked away from it, because I said, oh, it's just. So for me this kind of doing it every day was in a way to hold myself accountable.
Wow.
To challenging myself, because I knew if I didn't, I would have just, the results would have not been the same for me. So yeah, I took it to an extreme, but I needed an extreme to kind of get to jumpstart me to get going in this way. So now, I mean, and believe me, oh my gosh, the first month and a half was so overwhelming to try to get. I had no process in place. I was like,
yeah,
I knew how I was going to reach out to guests, how I was going to do anything, how I was going to have the conversations. So building all that stuff up and getting that sort of layout of how I wanted to create a show was very time consuming, was very, again, one of those things that really pushed a lot of my own limits of how I could do this. And even if I was going to be able to do it, if I was going to,
yeah.
But I took that step and I said, you know what, I have to push a boundary, or I'll never know exactly what it could lead me to. And because of that, yeah, exactly. It was what was necessary to get me to this point right here, where we're having this conversation now, where again, that's why I say a lot of what you said parallels a lot of what I've done, because I think it was this sort of thing. Like I said, I wish I would have had a detailed book that had my whole game plan written out of, oh yeah, I'm going to build my stream and I'm going to put this all together. I mean, I had no clue what I was doing, but it helped me find a passion that I never knew that I had. It's kind of helped me continue to grow. It's actually opened the door to different opportunities. And
man.
And again, this is why I tell people, just take the jump, man. If you're worried about it, because there's people that say, oh, I want to do video, or I want to do something.
It's just one step, man. One step at a time. Because there's a whole spectrum, as we were just mentioning, from like Joe Rogan's episode 1 to episode 1500. No shit, those are going to be worlds apart. But there's this value, like you were just mentioning, the value of connection, the reach, the social authority, the psychological authority. There's people I've been messaging, Lewis Howes, people from Goldcast, that I've been messaging for years, just trying to get it going, get my podcast going, everything, that have ignored me. And suddenly this year, not only are they responding, there's some people reaching out to me. And there's a whole, it's just in a completely inverted world. and all you have to do is just step in and figure it out. There's a style for everybody. This is something I'm actually in the midst of building, like a webinar and setup for, is finding your communication style. Because if you can zero in on, like for me, if I was still trying to do the camera in the corner style videos, I could, and they would be better now than my first 10 or a dozen that I did. But I wouldn't have that energy, that like magnetic pull, like you were just mentioning. I found a way to use my skills to help people. I found a new passion I didn't have. Those are the phrases we want to be zeroing in on and doubling down on. And that's what I've seen when you can combine that with now the production pipeline. When I think of it from the media and business side, from that revelation you were having about the podcast goes even further than that, because now what we could do, hypothetically, we have this 1 hour a week. If you had your own show, you invested 1 hour a week, you weren't as crazy as Gabe and went every single day, and you had your show for 1 hour a week, you can now transfer. You have that community event. You have a recurring audience that comes, hangs out, has that engagement during the show. You have the podcast distribution. If you set it up as audio, clean up all the audio, release it as an episode. And you have now all we were talking about, the clips, clip it, baby, clip it. Okay. All of those 5, 10 plus clips. The proof of concept we put together with Lead, Laugh, Love, we would produce 5 to 10 clips every week, and we could do 10, 12, 13 if we needed to, but it was more than we were able to post. So there's this magical formula, if you can tap into it, of converting 1 hour a week, if you're smart about it, into more content than you could ever post in any format, on multiple mediums, on podcasts, on videos, on YouTube, on Twitch, on LinkedIn, on whatever. And I'm fascinated by it. That was what a few people were chatting about. I've been talking with Marisa and others, yourself, about putting together media production packages and being able to turn that into a true, genuine service and system that I'm passionate about. And that's the sweet spot I'm so grateful to have discovered this year, man. It's a whole new world. A dazzling place I never knew.
Well, and again, that's where I think this is an ever growing need too. I mean, it's something that, because of, again, COVID and the way that people have had to change the way that they look at video and how powerful it can actually be to use as a tool to teach, to conduct business with. I mean, this is going to be a service that's going to be, people are going to be wanting going forward. And again, oh my God, no, another giveaway.
Oh God, here we go. No, I just realized how long it's been too. Somehow we've got people trooping in double-digit viewers on Twitch and LinkedIn for Gabe, we are 45 minutes over time. We've recorded a second episode. We've recorded a second episode of the show. So I've taken, what was this, episode 61 and 62.
Well, here's the thing about, so here we are talking about content. At some point, I'm going to have to get a team to start delegating, because if I let you know how much content I actually had, it would blow your mind, because I have hours upon hours upon hours of content that, I mean, I've done 2-hour shows, 4-hour shows, and these are everyday, sometimes everyday stuff. Yeah. So it adds up. I mean, literally just my first season was 1-hour shows. So I did 122 of them. So even at that clip, I would have been at 122 hours of just content, but I did show after show. And some episodes I had roundtables where I would go 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And that was just season one. This is episode 61. I've actually done some shows weeknights where we did a 4-hour stream, right? Mm-hmm. So the hours kind of add up. where I think the last time that I actually physically sat down and checked how many hours that I've actually streamed just here, I'm well over 250 hours.
Ooh, baby, I told you we got the OG of LinkedIn. I was gonna go look up and see if there was any way to figure out if there was somebody clocking more hours, but I pretty much just went with probability and said this guy's the OG with the most hours.
Well, even if somebody was doing so, I mean, and there's only one other person who has this probably the same amount of hours as me. If no, probably not. I'm going to tell you why. Russ Johns does it every day. He's been doing it since last year. As a matter of fact, he just went over 270, almost 280 episodes of his show. But he does 1 hour. I mean, he does 30-minute shows, right? Where as opposed to where I've done hour-long shows. So it's probably a wash in the math as far as like hour streaming, that sort of deal. So, but again, it was, and I'm going to tell everybody, this is extreme. Don't do extreme. Don't do.
I can barely do one a week, bro. But it's more of a. But this is again of the contrast too, because you have a conversationalist type of setup where you crack that open, and perhaps it ends at 30 or 45 minutes because it's good. It's good there, and you don't know where the conversation's going. Versus, I intentionally am planning on almost maxing out the max stream, the 3 to 4 hours. In the same way a club event is it's going to be from 9 till 2 a.m. Boom. Like that's their setup. That's what it's going to be there. And the experience is always different depending on who's in the show. We're going to switch out the spotlights and stuff, but I have a system where it's investing one day a week, but I'm trying to get as much juice or as much mileage as you are out of a full week of content. So there's so many. This again, back to that same key theme of finding your content style. It's like just same way you can't just go into a clothing store and buy the same thing that fits Gary Vee or Lewis House.
Oh, yeah.
And like, why does it look good as me? Like, well, because it's not your style, man. Quit trying to fit somebody else's style into it. So you found your style in this conversationalist. Like, I didn't know what we were going to talk about today. I didn't know if it was going to be like childhood stories or like behind the scenes, like tech details. I don't know.
Right.
But that's the beauty of when people hop in here is it's a conversationalist show and hangout type of thing. Whereas Friday night, those feel good Fridays, like people would be pissed if I stopped playing music. They're going to be like, yo, that's what we were expecting. That's your style. So whether it's video, photography, text, copywriting, anything, like there's so much value in finding and working on yourself personally to find that style. It's a huge ROI.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you, there was intention. Now, that's one thing that I can say. There is intention about the way that I bring guests on and the kind of guests that I go and find. Because I don't want, when people ask me, they go, "What is your show about?" I don't want to be able to say, "Oh, we just talk about mental health," or "We just talk about this."
No, not that you'll be screwed after 100, episode 50, or whatever. Like, imagine episode 1500. You will have talked about every possible mental health diagnosis 22 times
over, right?
No, I see. That's why a lot of people are actually shifting to the Jordan Parrish show versus Growth Mindset University was his old podcast. You back into this corner. I'm seeing it with a lot of people. Lex Friedman, lots of people just giving themselves that flexibility to go anywhere. Same thing you've done, where if it makes sense to have somebody like Chantel or somebody that's passionate about that subject and they've got interesting insights to share with the world, then let's go there. That's
I mean,
that's a brilliant strategy, man.
I mean, I'm telling you now, I want people to put this out there because I want people to come to me with this, but I'm doing next month 4 roundtables centered around women, right? And it's going to be, I'm doing a all female roundtable about recruiting. I've done one with the guys last week. So I'm doing one of those in January. I'm also doing one about that really I want to touch on is the like the business mothers of LinkedIn. A lot of them are going through processes right now of trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to be or even working for a company. I have to work for my corporation, have to be a mom, have to be a teacher. My kids are working from home, so whatever all that is, that's where I'm putting that sort of thing together as well. And I want to do one about just female entrepreneurs, what it's actually been like to go through the entrepreneurial process of starting your own business and finding out the contrast of how a lot of women put themselves out there, because for some of them it's out of necessity to have to go start an entrepreneurial business because I can't, there's nobody to watch my kid. There's nobody to, a single mother who wants to start doing, who has a passion but can't go out and do it because she's got to have somebody to watch her kids. So she builds her own sort of way of supporting herself through entrepreneurship. So that's another one that I really want to focus on as well. So I'm putting these together because for me, next month is going to be a very big month.
Brilliant.
in terms of what's about to happen. So those who don't know, on January, whether you voted or not, on January 20th, we will be inaugurating our first female vice president. It's a pretty big deal in this country. So I want to kind of focus that month on women as well and the struggles that a lot of them taken to get to that point. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of serious content that I'm putting out there. And yes, there's going to be jackassery mixed in as well, because that's just what I do, folks. But I do want to have those real sort of conversations that people will listen to, resonate, want to connect with some of the people that come on these shows. So, and I just wanted to go and put this out there. So any of you ladies who are in the audience watching, you feel that you have value and you can reach out there. I will be posting about what I'm looking for. I don't have
to nominate Marisa and Tiffany as my nominations for getting in on the action. They've been extremely supportive throughout the year, and I know they also have been. Marisa's been helping me make sure I'm in check with everything I'm building in the Beast Node to have multiple perspectives approached and integrated in everything we do. So I think she would be great in that realm. So, oh God, now that I've started that mental list, I could probably add 100 more to that list, but I won't overcommit you since you're already got enough shows over there.
Here's the thing here's what I tell everybody though. I have a 25-day schedule to fill. So yeah, I love building direct content kind of gauged towards a certain audience. And then guess what? On the other days that I'm not doing this, if I have a 4-hour chat with whoever pops into the stream, so be it. I mean, this is kind of what it's been like. And I tell people all the time, it's pretty simple. If you want to get on here and build a voice and talk and want to be seen, I'm the show that will let just about anybody in. Possibly that, and maybe Brian Schulman, who does his sort of deal. He'll let anybody in there. Well, but I do the same sort of deal. Say, hey, you want to come on here and have a talk? Like DJ was one of these people that I have on the screen here, who just hopped on the screen, who was part of a stream. Gem. So there's so many people who, oh wow, I still have an old Walkman. So people are actually, guys, you're stabbing us in the back. You're actually adding to the
joining Team Reggie.
Team Reggie.
So, unless, I mean, there might be there could very well be a portion of humanity that uses Walkmans. Let's not be discriminatory, Gabe.
Okay, here we go. But again,
let's give them a little bit of hope.
So this is what these will be up in the Shopify pretty soon. Will you be able to go?
Okay, where's the opposite version of Team Reggie? Where's
Well, we do have one, and she's been on the show as well. So there's Team Raquel.
There it is.
That's the opposite. If you want
out, let me max my credit card right now. As long as Reggie loses.
So yeah, if you're fighting against Team Reggie, buy the Team Raquel shirt. They will be on Shopify. You'll be able to buy them, multiple sizes, very high quality stuff that we're going to be selling here on the platform. So yeah, thank you guys so much. And again,
there's so many amazing people here. Oh my god!
So I'm gonna. I know exactly, and it's gone on for almost 2 hours.
I ask myself how sometimes, like not sometimes, all the time. I am like, I see like Luke Matthews and like John Palmar and like Wrestler Guy and stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. They'll hang out for hours, and then like I see people hanging out here or on like some of these other streams for hours, or my test streams. I'm testing stuff and I'm telling them this isn't a real stream, go away. And there's people rolling in like, yo, looks cool. And I'm like, no, I don't want people to see this. But I 100% appreciate it and love all of you guys. So
yes, everybody who's been part of the
second show.
For episode 2, so we've almost gone 2 hours into a whole live stream with just me and Travis. But I'm going to go ahead, since it's we've had such a really good night. I want to go into the serious part of the show. I've asked everybody this question who's ever come on the show, solo shows. Excuse me, not. When I have roundtables and stuff, I don't do this. It would take forever to get this answered question. But every solo guest that I've had come on the show, I've asked them this question, except for one. And again, I'm putting it out there. He's my Matt Damon, and that is Matt Gagnon. I had him on the show at one time. We fucking had a really great conversation. We were just like vibing, like bro vibing, like it was a whole nother level. And it just got so much so that I forgot to ask him. I ended the show. I didn't think about it, and then somebody said, "Hey, how come you didn't ask your question?" And it fucking ticked me off. So I'm hunting him down to get him back on the show, because I am going to ask him the question. But here it goes, Travis. So, when the book is said and done on Travis Lachner, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind, and what do you want to be remembered for? Ooh, I stole Raquel question too.
I love how it goes from casual hangout to like, what should be written on your tombstone? Like, I love it. No, I genuinely do.
I did, Tiffany.
So, I mean, this is something I've, in my life and my experience and my story, I have broken and dismantled and repaired my dreams so many times in different ways. I used to think I was going to be a pro hockey player. We rode that to the end of the line in college hockey. Gave music a really genuine try. Super grateful for it. Was able to work with brilliant artists. Be able to do remix productions for people like Halsey and Linkin Park and the Hives and so many brilliant things, but it wasn't enough to make it. So those dreams died as well. Then eventually thought I was starting a family, was working at a nonprofit, got a 9-to-5, was like, all right, now I got it figured out. Bought the ring, thought I was getting engaged and going that route. And that didn't happen either, for a slew of a whole nother reasons. So what my legacy really has become is being the guy that can help other people's dreams come true. That's where I found my sweet spot, and I'm rolling with it.
Hey man, I love that. And again, to me, I tell everybody when I ask them that question, there's no right or wrong answer. It is just really about perspective. So For some people, it's been to that point where they have never thought about that question, right? So it kind of catches them off guard. And then there's some people who've actually, like, somebody actually came on here and told me, and I want to give him credit, Jake Jordan, who came on here, said, I've actually written my obituary. And I said, wow, that is like really deep foreshadowing of your life. So, I mean, I get that, but it's one of those things, though. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just shocking to hear. I mean, I've asked a 16-year-old this question, so I'm pretty sure, like I said, the 16-year-old is going to have a different answer when they get to the age of 46 or 47. So it's different for each one of us. So I love the fact that each answer is just as unique as the person who answers it. So that's why I asked that question, because it's a learning, for me, it's a learning tool to take what somebody's told me, get it into my life, and really look at myself and how I want to answer that question objectively when my time comes. So I take this information, and there's a poignant point to asking that question that where has really struck me when I first, and it was one of the first questions that I ever thought of when I came on here, because I was just curious about it. I mean, because I was curious about my own journey and wanting to ask that question and going, what kind of legacy am I going to leave behind, and how am I going to be remembered? I mean, what are people going to say? And those were things that I thought about. So that question has kind of stuck with me, and I think it brings out a lot of things from different people. So, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just the perspective of somebody who wants to hear how someone would feel about that. So,
well, after you answer it, or after you ask it 100 times, you better have the best damn answer in the world to answer, culminating hundreds of other responses.
Well, it's still ongoing. It's a still ongoing process. So when I'm done, I will have a finalized answer. And so, just so you don't know about it, guys, I write these things down all the time, and I have I don't know. I have a journal that I keep a lot of stuff in here, and when the show ends or whatever, I take notes about what really struck out to me, and it's just usually, sometimes it's just jotting a few lines. Sometimes it's something that's really touching, and I say, God, I feel like I want to write a whole fucking article about it. It is just one of those things where I learned so much about it, because I want to be able to say, with a straight answer at the end of my time, to say, you know what, I've had no regrets. I've found out so many different things about life and so many about different people, and everything that I've gotten to do past this one point has been a 100 complete blessing. So, and again, I loved your answer. I love it when I hear people just share themselves, and again, that's what it does, man. You pull the whole this is the whole process of what I do here, is to pull somebody in and let that guard down and get relaxed. And I could really go deep into Travis right now. I could go, ooh, now let's go here.
Easy there, bud.
Well,
Travis was not on the consent form before this show. Jeez.
Oh, misappropriation of words.
Clip it. Clip it. It's on the stream forever. Oh, sorry, I just killed the tone again.
That's okay. That's setting the tone back where it needs to go anyway. So, all right, guys.
Did you hit any of your records?
Let's go ahead and see.
I think I'm gonna owe these. I was hoping the room was gonna die down, if it was broken, but these clowns wouldn't let the end of it. I mean, I don't have music anyways. Or can I hijack this stream? Oh my God, I can.
You can.
No, I don't need to do that literally though.
So we actually have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm trying to do this for the first time on Twitch, trying to get my chat count here. Now, people who are watching actually on LinkedIn can put the comments in there, they can actually see that. I can't. I got 17.
Oh, I can hijack it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is. Oh wait, it's not on the. Oh, it's a separate person. So when I screen share, it adds it as like a person.
Yeah. So watch. Here it goes.
Does it play the audio? If I'm. This is a Halsey remix that I've produced. But I do owe a little Stormtrooper action. Thank you guys for hanging out. You can close the show because I can't hear once I put that thing on. So thank you guys so much. I owe it to you. I'm just going to throw it on for a little, and then Gabe, you can end the show, brother.
All right. We got it. So here we are, guys. This is live. We're seeing some live Stormtrooper action. Guys, if you're watching, you need to be clipping this. This needs to be. The dog is there. Yes. Total success. So thank you guys for watching. You guys got to see one hell of a show. We owe you, everybody who's been a part of this one. Thank you guys so much. We will be back here tomorrow evening, 7:30 Central Standard Time, with my guest, Foley Hart. Everybody else, stay safe, stay blessed. Talk to you again soon. Good night, everybody.